TUT here, and welcome to this step-by-step tutorial video of this sandwich medley that I've made of To Live Is To Die by Metallica. I made this medley because I had some friendly people suggest that I do something like this on YouTube. I would have never thought to do this on my own, but some people said, why don't you put together these two To Live Is To Die parts from these two previous Metallica medleys and make like an only To Live Is To Die medley. So I decided to do that, and then I got so inspired that I decided to arrange the very melodic solo in the middle, and it ended up working out really well in terms of its playability on fingerstyle guitar. So this was really enjoyable to work on, and I chose to do it on my 7-string guitar just as an opportunity to get to know that guitar better, and it worked out very well. Gave me opportunities to explore it. And then just to say, if you ever have an idea about something that you might think that I should work on, man, by all means tell me. I mean, especially you being a member of this A-guitar community. I'd love to hear it, and I will certainly do it if I can. If I can't, I promise I'll take it into consideration, and I'll maybe come back to it later. I have a lot of projects, more than I can keep up with. But I'd love to hear ideas from people. So let me just say one thing about 7-string versus 6-string. Well, I'm going to say a bunch of things, not just one thing. So I recorded it on the 7-string. The way that I incorporated the 7th string into the arrangement is in such a way that it's not vital to play this on a 7-string. I'm going to show this tutorial on a 6-string because that's what most people have. If you have a 7-string, let me explain to you the way that I use it in the arrangement, and then you can listen to it and you'll see, yeah, okay, that's what he did. So I use standard tuning with 7-string, except I drop the low 7 down to A instead of B. So I drop that B down to one whole step down to A. For this introductory part, which is also the ending part, there's no 7th string. So that's just 6-string arrangement, so you won't see me use any 7-string notes there. When you get to this middle part, and then for the solo part that comes after it, I did incorporate the 7th string there, and all I did was whenever you have an open 5th string A, I would play the low open 7th string A. Boom, boom. I can't go that low, that voice. So, for instance, in the first chord of that middle section, instead of the thumb being on the 5th string, it'd be on the 7th string. Play that 7th string. Okay. And anytime you have the open 5th string A, play the low 7th string A. Okay, so you'll just have to keep that in mind if you're going through this tutorial. Besides that, add 7th string notes if you like, but I didn't add any more. So, and then if you're confused, listen to the video I published on YouTube, and you'll be able to see where I use the notes, and hopefully that will help you. Okay, so let's go and do the tutorial, right? I've talked enough. Let's review our terminology that we're going to use. So, for plucking hand, I use the classical guitar terminology. So for thumb, I'll say P. For index, I'll say I. For middle, I'll say M. For ring, I'll say A. And I usually just say pinky. For fretboard hand, so we have 4 fingers, finger 1, finger 2, finger 3, and finger 4. I'll use those, and then don't confuse your string numbers on the guitar. Don't get them backwards. This is the 1st string, it's the high E. 2nd string, 3rd string, 4th string, 5th string, 6th string. In classical guitar, terminology, you use string numbers a lot. So I'll say like 3rd string, 2nd fret, instead of saying G string or B string. I'll use the string numbers. So now we get to the beginning of To Live Is To Die. Well, I guess it's the beginning and the end also. So this arrangement is my best shot at trying to incorporate all of the different lines that you hear in this passage of music. But, you know, keeping all the ones that are most important, but still making it playable so that it's not clunky sounding. So the first phrase, on the 3rd string, 9th fret, fret this E with your 3rd finger. On the 2nd string, 8th fret, fret this G with your 2nd finger. We're going to play that chord 2 times, and you're going to hear this articulation a lot. Short, long, short, long, short, long. And the way I get that articulation is plucking hand. To get a shorter sounding chord, just put your fingers back down on the strings immediately after you pluck it. It comes in handy in a lot of places that this technique does. Oops. So this is the first chord, you're going to play it twice. Short, long. The second chord is just a 3-string bar at the 7th fret, the first 3 strings. I'm not going to use a full bar finger, just going to put it where I need it. And 2 plucks on that chord. And with plucking hand, if it's 2 notes, I'm going to use I and M. If it's 3 notes, I'm going to use I and A. I'll leave the thumb for when we need to do bass stuff here in a second. So this one, 2 on this one, and then go up here. Really, this is the chord. It's 12th fret on the 3rd and 1st strings. That's a high E and a high G. But it has this little ornament. So to play that little ornament, put your 1st finger on the 1st string, 10th fret. 2nd finger goes on the 3rd string. 3rd finger goes on the 1st string. But don't put 3rd finger down yet. Play this G on the 3rd string and this D on the 1st string together. And then do a very quick ascending slur or hammer-on the 1st string. So you play this D and then you get this E. Short, short, long, short, long, short, long. And the second time you pluck this chord up here in 12th position, add this low E in the bass with your thumb. And I'm pretty much going to try and utilize vibrato here whenever you can. Definitely here at the end. Gonna try and shake it a little bit. And you hear me arpeggiating this chord. You don't have to do that. It's up to you. So that's your first phrase. If you're gonna practice this phrase a lot. So it's just super solid, so that when you have that big moment, you can come in with that beautiful phrase and really just really make your audience just key into where you want to take them. So after this, pluck this high E one more time on the 1st string, 12th fret. And then we're going to go down to this chord. It's 2nd string, 5th, it's kind of a chord. It's really just 2 lines, I guess. 2nd string, 5th fret, E with your 1st finger. 1st string, 7th fret, B with your 3rd finger. And in getting there, I do just a hint of a slide. And I won't say do a slide there because then you might want to do this. I don't think it's a slide. I don't remember hearing any sliding there on the record. But since you're going to use that finger anyway, if you just give a hint of a slide, it has this kind of like weeping effect. So it's not a big deal, but well, I mean, I think it's a big deal. It's a tiny detail, but it really gets you into what you're doing. So after you do this little weeping slide, I like that. I'm gonna call it that. Weeping slide. Then you land on 5th fret and 7th fret. Play this chord twice. And then on the 3rd pluck, put down 4th fret on the 4th finger on the 1st string 8th fret, while you relax your 1st finger and play this open 2nd string B. This is a simple move, but if you've never done it before, you'll need to work the coordination just a bit. You may. After plucking that once, we're going to go back to this chord, 5th fret and 7th fret. And the line I'm trying to sing here is this one. So a little bit of emphasis on this chord, son vibrato maybe. After that, we're going to switch to these octave Ds. 3rd string, 7th fret with 1st finger. 1st string, 10th fret with 4th finger. And I've got my thumb sitting on that 3rd string already. Like I'm doing IM for these chords. Thumb is just waiting. And I'll pluck the 1st string with M for this one. After this, we're going to do this thing leading into this B minor bar chord. So let me show you what this is. We're going to go ahead and get our bar finger into position to do what is basically a full bar at the 7th fret. But at first, we're only going to press down strings 1 and 2. So I'm not pressing them all down, just doing strings 1 and 2. Because you don't, you could put them all down if you want. Saves a little bit of energy if you don't do that yet. Also, this only doing the first 2 strings helps me really focus in and making sure that those ring, which is always an issue when I play bar chords, is you get these doinky sounds of the notes not coming out. So if you put the whole bar down, or if you just do the first 2 strings, you're going to pluck strings 1 and 2, and then you're going to do this little ornament on the 1st string. So you're already holding down 7th fret, do an ascending slur or hammer-on the 10th fret of the 1st string with your 4th finger, and then immediately do a descending slur. Don't do a pull-off, because then you will get no sound on a nylon string guitar. So don't do a pull-off, do a descending slur. Descending slur, you're going to actually pluck it with this finger. Okay, so you get a nice, as nice a sound as you can get. All the while this 2nd string 7th fret, what note is that? It's F sharp, is ringing out. Okay, right after that, go ahead and put a standard B minor bar chord down. So you're already barring across the 7th fret on all the strings. At this point, you can put it down, okay? If you don't have it down yet. And then put 5th, on the 5th string, 9th fret, 3rd finger. Is it F sharp? Yeah, F sharp. On the 4th string, 9th fret, 4th finger. That's a B. And then you've got the 7th fret barred for the rest of the strings. Keep in mind when you have a bar chord like this, bar chords are tough for pretty much everybody. I mean, even if you have massive, strong hands, you'll probably run into some that are difficult. keep in mind that any notes that you're fretting that is higher than the bar chord, okay, obviously you don't need to bar those strings, so you cannot worry about focusing the pressure on those strings. In this case, it's strings 5 and 4. So you might be making them ring anyway, but if one is buzzing, it doesn't matter because you're fretting that one. So I just want that out to say in your efforts, only make sure you're barring the strings that are not being fretted by a finger other than the bar chord finger. That works for general bar chords. It can help save you a lot of energy. You'll also find, well, I've found a lot of instances where I'm stressing really hard, and as it turns out, I'm putting a lot of focus into strings that I don't even need to bar. My brain is just kind of saying, like, bar chord, hit them all and press really hard, and that's not the case ever, unless you're doing just a straight. Unless you're just doing something that you don't see a lot. Okay, anyway, I digress. So we were here, and this is a really nice moment. If you by chance are familiar with the Maurice Ravel piece called Pavane for a Dead Princess, I know what the title sounds like, but it's actually a beautiful piece. There's this beautiful arpeggio in the piece. If you know the piece, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know the piece, check it out. I think you'll like it. That's what I want this arpeggio to sound like in my mind. I think in the orchestration, it's like the harp does it. I've heard guitar quartets play it, so the guitar will play a nice arpeggio. I don't know what the chord is, but it's something like this, where you just really build. You have a melody note, and then you kind of build up to it. So that's what I'm thinking of here. After you do, oh, and I strum that with the thumb. I think it would be nice to do an all-flesh thumb sound there. I didn't do that because I thought the chance for error was too high for me. That might help you achieve that sweeping, kind of lush arpeggio sound. Anyway, be sure you hit the first string with emphasis, just a little bit, so you hear this. And while we're holding that chord out, you're going to come back with your thumb and play the third string, and then play the third and first strings together. I do thumb and then M on top. Then we have this little cool arpeggio. We're still holding down this bar chord. Sorry, that's also the first chord in the middle movement of the Allred concerto. So now you know at least the first chord of the Allred concerto. You can learn the rest later. This arpeggio, I'm just going to line up my plucking hand kind of in standard plucking position. I need to come up with a name for it. Thumb on the fourth string, I on the third string, M on the second string, and A on the first string. And then do M, I, P, I, M, P. So that strings 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 4, and then 3 and 1 together. And I'm going to play that with either P and M or P and A or I and A. If you want to just stay in this position, we don't have to move across strings, then just do M, I, P, I, M, P, and I and A together at the end. I think on the recording I did M, I, P, I, M, P, P, and M at the end. switch to this chord. Second string, 8th fret with 2nd finger. 1st string, 10th fret with 4th finger. And then we're going to play the open 4th string really quickly after this. And then go ahead and put 1st finger kind of in a mini bar on the 3rd and 2nd strings on the 7th fret. This is the chord that you're D major with a beautiful suspension. So again, we have open 4th string, 3rd string, 3rd string, 7th fret, 2nd string, 8th fret, 1st string, 10th fret. At first we're going to pluck strings 1 and 2 together. I do it with M and A. And then play all 4 strings. P, I, M, A. You could do it with the thumb too, that would be nice. Kind of echo the strum from earlier. After you do the strum, do a descending slur. Not a pull off, because you won't get any sound. Descending slur on the 2nd string. So you'll slur with the 2nd finger. 1st finger should already be barred at the 7th fret. And I think this is a big deal in terms of it coming out. I mean, this sounds so pretty. Very weeping-like. So put effort into making that come out. You can even hang on to that moment for a second. A second longer than you might should. And some vibrato would be nice. I mean, just get all that you can out of it. So after this chord, we'll let it ring for just a second. Then we're going to play a D. And I found the easiest way I could find to make all this work was to play it with this plucking hand harmonic. If you don't know about these harmonics that go past the fingerboard, you should find them and experiment with them. Sometimes you can find a note that you need that would be hard to get to in an open string harmonic. They can really come in handy. So here it comes in handy because it gives me just a second to shift down the fingerboard to this D major shape down here. So hold on to this one. The harmonic is on the 4th string, and what fret would it be? I guess it would be at the theoretical 24th fret. If you have a steel string or nylon string, you probably don't have 24 frets. You'll have to find it though. To find it, just you're looking for this note, or it's this note, this D. So just pluck up here until you find it. There it is. When it stops ringing, you've gone too far. Go back. There it is. And then look visually on your guitar and try and make a visual, marker. Where is it in the sound hole? Mine is towards this side, because when I go to a different guitar, it will be in the same location, like physically on the string, but the visual markers will be different. I mean, the sound hole in another guitar will be in a slightly different position, so that marker will be different. So before you go to play this piece for somebody or record it or do it in public, be sure you know exactly where this is. Because if you don't hit this, you get nothing. And in this beautiful music, that just is it's gonna rip you right out of what you're doing, trust me. Again, I have tutorials on these. Look up harmonics. These are called artificial harmonics, or I don't think it's actually artificial harmonic, but it's a plucking hand harmonic. I use these all the time. They're really cool, and you can play a lot of stuff on them. You can do a lot of stuff. Like 2 different voices at once with them. Anyway, so this chord, then hit this harmonic. It'll give you just enough time to shift down to this D major. If you know D major chord in kind of open position, this is what this is. First string, 2nd fret with 2nd finger. 2nd string, 3rd fret with 3rd finger. 3rd string, 2nd fret with 1st finger. And I don't think we're playing any 4th string, are we? No 4th string. So I've got thumb on the 3rd string, and then I and M on strings 2 and 1. And then let's see. Pluck strings 1 and 2 together, then string 3, then strings 1 and 2. Then on the 1st string, put down your 4th finger on the 3rd fret, that's a G. And I think I still pluck that with M. Then you're going to do this thing. So on the 1st string, 2nd fret, pluck that F sharp with your 2nd finger. Then you're going to do an ascending slur with 4, a descending slur with 4, a descending slur with 2. And if you need to work this, work it strong and slow and even. Oh, and I use fingers 2 and 4 because that's where I'm coming from. You could do 2 and 3. My 2 to 3 kind of sucks. I don't like it. I'd rather do 2 and 4. Even if I can do 3, like I'll put 4 there instead if I'm doing 2 next. Sometimes. You can use any fingering that you want. But this technique will come in handy for you in other places, I promise. So do this ornament. After the ornament, pluck the open 1st and 2nd strings. Then we're going to shift back up here on the 3rd string, 11th fret. It's a high F sharp. Yeah. And I'm playing that with the thumb. So I and M for these, and then the thumb, and then this high E harmonic, which is on the recording. They do a harmonic there. And it made me feel like using this was a good fit, because about a bar later you have this. So it's like this one kind of sets it up. I think it makes sense. Even though I don't think on the recording, I think this is a plucked note. I don't think it's a harmonic. Anyway. And for this high E harmonic, I just pluck it with M, free stroke. Remember to pluck these firmly, not too hard, but pluck it with enough intensity, and then immediately get off the string with your fingerboard hand. I've seen people in concert do this. Well, I can't do it. They throw harmonics at the audience. Never really tried that, but the people I've seen do it are good enough to where I'm like, there must be something to that. But the point is, if you don't get off the string quickly, you get a more muted harmonic sound. If your harmonics don't ring like a bell, it's probably not sufficient enough harmonic. Many times I hear people play and they get these types of sounds. Muted sounds, okay. you want them to ring like a bell, okay? These two. If you get this sound, I don't think that's a very good harmonic, especially if you have a good guitar. It wants to give you this, and then it will just ring. It's still going. I think it finally stopped, and then these will ring even more. You know, they really want to ring. You just have to give them energy and then get out of their way. Okay. So after this, play a low E, 6th string. Then you're going to do this cool line in the bass. While the low E is ringing on the 5th string, I do it with my 1st finger. On the 2nd fret, I think I just guess. I don't remember there being a note before the slide. If there is, I forgot. But anyway, I put my 1st finger here on the 2nd fret. And this is a slide. This is not a weeping slide. This is a slide sound. So pluck this 5th string, slidey all the way up to the 9th fret. And the articulation that Metallica does is short. So I try and echo that. It's like this. So it becomes a different technique than this. As soon as you get here, just relax your 1st finger and it'll cut it short. This time we're doing the staccato or the shorted note. The short note with the fretboard hand. Remember last time we did it with the plucking hand. This time we're going to do it with the... You could do it with plucking hand too. If you do it with thumb it works. But anyway. So slide up to the 9th fret and then you're going to move with your 1st finger to the 7th fret on this E to the 5th string. Now we start over. That's just, yeah, all we're going to do is play that 4 times. It's exactly the same. If I were you, I would think about, oh, well, let me say one thing before I say that. Do practice, when you first start the section off for the very first time, okay, you're not going to have this note down. So do practice on the recap, if you will. This shape with 1st finger down. You're kind of holding that down. I hold that note down until I move to the 2nd chord. And I just point that out to say your brain is kind of saying like, this is the part I already know, I'm going to play it again. But not quite though. It's the notes that you know, these two. But this is different. And I tried to get a generous amount of vibrato on this E, so much so that I had to go ahead and put down these 2 fingers because I couldn't, I was having trouble placing them. I was shaking my hand back and forth. So what I would do is scream and then kind of fret this chord together. So you can do as much vibrato as you want. Also on the guitar that I used to record this is my nicest guitar, but it's not intonated great. And this octave is pretty off. It's audible to most people. Mainly it's audible to me. So this would have been a little bit out of tune, so I needed to really shake it. And then you start over. And it's the exact same, except at the very end, I drag this line out a little bit and then add an open 4th string D. The D is going to transition us. So at the end of the 4th time, where should I pick it up? I slowed down. Actually, I'm already slowing down there. And I really dragged this out. the middle part of the piece where James plays this passage fingerstyle. Okay. So if you know your common chords, the chord shapes for this passage is just A minor, G major, E minor, and F major, and then A minor, G major, E minor, and then G major. That's the chord progression, that's the shapes we're gonna use with a little bit of ornamenting that they do. So coming from fade to black, when you do this for the last time, I slow down just a little bit, and then I play a full A minor chord. I think on the recording on Justice, you'll just hear these outer notes. So if you want to just play these, that's fine. I go ahead and play the full chord just to kind of bring it in a little bit. Okay, so here's this chord. We're gonna play open 5th string A, 4th string 2nd fret E with 2nd finger, 3rd string 2nd fret A with 3rd finger, and then we're going to eventually play 2nd string 1st fret C with 1st finger, okay? And for the plucking hand, it's just very straightforward, P-I-M-A. But we don't just play the chord just normally, because that would be not interesting enough. We do this. So what you're going to do is play the open 2nd string and then hammer on that 1st fret on the C with your 1st finger to give it that very mournful type of feel. Okay, so if you're playing it just like the recording on Justice, you'll only want to play strings 5 and 2 at the start of this. The way I play it on the medley is I play the full chord. It's not that much different. I just be sure that I emphasize that top note. You don't want to bury it. You want it to be the most important thing. Okay, so after we play that chord, and I like to arpeggiate it, as you'll notice, as you kind of roll up to it. We're going to play the chord, and then we're going to play strings 3 and 4. That's with fingers M and I. So roll, M, I. Then we do this. So this is a little, I think it's like an inverted mordant thing. It's a little ornament. Play the open 2nd string, hammer on the 1st fret, and then pull off back to the 2nd string. And do it probably as quickly as you can. And to finish that ornament, I guess it really kind of finishes on the next note, which is the 3rd string. It's this A that you're still holding from the chord. I'm going to play with my middle finger here, M. So practice this. Might sound best if you don't let this open B keep ringing. What I'm just now feeling is I actually lean this 3rd finger back and touch that string and keep it from ringing after I'm done with it. Because I think you want it to sound more like this. Like it's one thing. Okay, so moving on. We're going to play an open 2nd string, that's a B, with my A finger here, and a low G 6th string 3rd fret with 4th finger here. Okay, so then I'm going to do this, and there are a lot of different fingering options for your fingerboard hand here. I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to recommend 2nd finger on the next note, which is this A, 3rd string 2nd fret with 2nd finger. So after we play these two notes together, then we play this A, oops, sorry, this A, then this low G again, and then the open third string. So I relax that second finger, and that's the next chord shape. Okay. Of course, you could do this with third finger if you want. It's a little stretchy to me, and I don't really have to do that. Or you could even do it with first finger. Just whatever you like. Okay, after this, we're going to go to our E minor chord shape. It starts with open 6th and 3rd strings. So thumb on the 6th string, and my A finger is playing the 3rd string here. After we play these two, I'm going to fret the 2nd fret on both the 5th and 4th strings. 2nd finger on the 5th, 3rd finger on the 4th. That's E and B. And I'm going to play first the 4th string and then the 5th string. So these two notes together, and these two, 4, 5. And with my plucking hand, I'm doing M, I, right? I just kind of keep everything lined up here and just follow the pattern, right? So A and P, M, I. Then we have open 3rd string with A, and then open 6th string with P. So that's the E minor shape. Now we have this. So for this, the first finger is going to play the F on the 6th string, 1st fret, with thumb over here. And we're going to play this open 3rd string with A finger. And then we're going to, in time with the music, we're going to hammer on to the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, that's an A. And I'm going to recommend 3rd finger here. So this isn't a quick one like we have a lot in these lines. It's like melodic. Think of it as like instead of okay, after we do this, play strings 4 and 5, both open. That's a D and an A. And right hand you could do M, I, or you could do M, P. I seem to be doing M, P right now. M, P. Okay. Yeah, I do P here. I'm not sure why. But anyway, however it works for you. Okay, now we come back. It's like the first half of playing this. And then after this, it's pretty much the same, okay? We're going to come back and play the same A minor chord shape. This time we're going to lay the same shape as the beginning. This time we don't have this, we just have this. So go ahead and put that first finger on the C, 2nd string, 1st fret, and lay down the rest of the A minor chord. Okay. And our figure is P on 5th string, A on 2nd string, and we're going to play those together. And then we're going to play 3rd string, A, and 4th string, E, with fingers M and I, like that. Da, da, da. Okay. And then add this extra note as we're about to change chords, reach out with 4th finger and fret this D, 2nd string, 3rd fret. And I'm going to play that with A finger because A finger is already on the 2nd string. Okay, so here. Now, 4th finger stays on this D here, so it helps us get to the next chord shape. And I would go ahead and fret this low G on the 6th string, 3rd fret with your 2nd finger. Okay. So after we first play this D on the 2nd string right here, now we play one more D on the 2nd string with A, combined with this G on the 6th string with B. After that, we play one more low G, then we play open 2nd string and open 3rd string. It's a B and a G. And I'm going to use A finger and then M finger. Okay. And then to finish this measure, we've already kind of started to change chords. Play one last open E on the 6th string. Okay, now we're going fully into the E minor harmony. So you just played an open E on the 6th string, and you're going to play another one. At the same time, you're going to play the open 3rd string G with my middle finger. My M finger is what I'm using here. Okay. After this, I'm going to fret my E minor chord shape here from before. Maybe I would use you could either use I'm going to use 2nd and 3rd finger here. You could use 1 or 2 as well. You can decide. I won't talk about that because then I'll never stop. So you can use 2 and 3 here, or you can use 1 and 2. Okay. Decide. I'm going to use 2 and 3. So I've got 3 on 4th string, 2nd fret, E, 2 on 5th string, 2nd fret, B. And I play the 4th string and then the 5th string, okay? And right here I do I and P, and it helps line up my plucking hand for what comes next, okay? 4, 5. Then I play open 3rd string with M and open 2nd string with A. M, A. Okay. And then how you fret this final G chord kind of depends on what you do here. If you use 2 and 3 like I did, then just keep 2 where it is on the 5th string and reach out with 3rd finger and fret this low G on the 6th string, 3rd fret. After these open strings, you're going to play this low G on the 6th string together with this open 3rd string G. Okay. Play open 4th string and open 5th string, and then you're going to fret this D, 2nd string, 3rd fret with 4th finger. Okay, if you did the E minor chord like this with 1 and 2, leave 1 where it is, fret this low G with 2, and you can either use 3 or 4 up here. Okay, but with that, whatever finger you have on this B on the E minor chord previously on the 5th string 2nd fret, leave that finger there because you need that same note, and that'll make it easier to play. Oops. And then you just start the whole thing over. Okay, and that is how you play that passage. Okay, so now let's go over this really beautiful melodic solo in the middle of this piece. And this is like a classic Hetfield solo, right? Just sounds great and ended up working out really well on fingerstyle guitar. So, a couple things I'll say about this section before we start the tutorial. I'll show you all the notes one by one, but keep in mind that you always have the same bass line. Okay, it's always going to be A, G, E, F, and then it's going to go A, G, E, G, and then that will repeat. So it's always the same. If you can get in touch with that bass line, those notes will feel easier to find because it will just be a pattern. There will be many different positions in which we will reach them, and at the end we're going to play that same pattern just in a register 1 octave higher up here. I'll get to that, but it's much more productive to think about it that way instead of always having to say this note up here and then this one. It's just like play your solo up top and just know what bass note is know what note, know where you are in the pattern is what I'm trying to say. So play this pattern. Play it with me if you want. Where does it start? So A, and then G, and then E, and then F, and then A, G, and then E, and then G. Okay. Use different fingerings, and you won't believe how much fun this type of work is. People just don't believe you when you tell them how much fun this is. They're like, how can that be fun? You're playing one simple part of the piece. You're not playing all the notes. You know, how can that be fun? How can it be interesting? And the answer is, well, oops, there it is. The answer is, it can be as fun and interesting as you can imagine, like literally. So I'd recommend, to do that kind of work. It's really important, really beneficial. Okay, the second thing I'll mention about this is for your solo voice. For this part, okay? I would recommend using, if you don't know what to use here, the technique I use is IM alternation with a heavy but melodic rest stroke. Okay? And if you ever want to work on cultivating a particular sound or particular sound or tone of voice, not cult of voice, tone of voice, and you don't know where to start with a thick, big, heavy, not too heavy, but strong, but melodic rest stroke sound. So pretend that you're in a band, and this is your part. You just have a melody to sing. And you're going to experiment with getting these qualities out of your guitar. That's the tone of voice that I went for with this solo. And there's really not much rest stroke earlier in the piece. So when you throw it in, I mean, this is all free stroke, right? So when you throw in the rest stroke, it can have a big impact and sound different, which is good. And this is the solo, so I mean, you want it to sound special. This is the climax of this arrangement for sure. So, okay, now I'm going to take you through and show you each note. But I don't think that's near as important as the two things I just mentioned. Get in touch with the bass line and make a firm decision about your solo tone of voice, or at least try some things. If you don't know what it is, that's okay. Just work towards figuring out what you want to do and work on that sound, okay? Okay, enough of that. So, we're coming from this part, right, before the solo. And I'll show you one little difference that I do in this chord before we get to the solo. So usually we play this last G chord like this, the way that you've been playing it. Right before the solo, instead of doing this like normal, I decided to play it like this. Okay, a little bit different, but put thumb on the 5th string, and then it's P-I-M-A after that. Oops. Still got this D fretted here on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, with whatever finger you want. 4, I'm using 4, you might want to use 3. Just because I felt like it led into it a little bit. It was kind of different. So if you want to do that, go for it. Okay, now here's where the solo starts. So here's the first line. This little first phrase. So open 5th string A with your thumb, and 2nd string 3rd fret D with your first finger, and then do a kind of lazy ascending slur or hammer on up to the 5th fret of the 2nd string. You use finger 4 or finger 3, whatever you like. And some nice vibrato would be nice on that 5th fret. Now whatever finger you have here, just shift it down to the 3rd fret. Well, we gotta pluck that note one more time, brother. One more pluck here. Then shift this finger down 2 frets to the 3rd fret, and then play the 1st fret with your 1st finger. Okay, or if you're using 3 here, like that. Okay, now we have this fun thing. And I remember practicing this quite a lot. Good for technique, I guess. So, fret this low G on the 6th string, 3rd fret with your 3rd finger. And then we're gonna fret 2nd string, 1st fret with your 1st finger. Pluck those two together. Then you're immediately going to ascending slur to the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and then a descending slur right after that. I'm using my 4th finger here. You can use 4. Well, you gotta use 4, right? Because 3 is down here. So ascending slur to the 4th finger, descending slur that will go back to this 1st finger, and then another descending slur with the 1st finger. So you've got 3 slurs in a row. Ascending, descending, descending. And then it ends on 2nd fret of the 3rd string with your 2nd finger here. And practice it slow and even like this. And eventually you want it to sound like a smooth movement that's just one movement, right? Not a bunch of clunks, but just a bunch of notes that lead to this A. Then before we get to the next bass note, we're going to play open 3rd string G, and then do an ascending slur on the 2nd fret. I'm going to use my 2nd finger. Okay. Now we're going to play 2 notes together, low 6th string, open, and then open 2nd string. And I think I said it earlier, but I'm using I and M alternation for all these high notes, so just choose I or M, whatever you like. All the bass notes are going to be played with the thumb, so I don't need to mention those every time. So we have open 2nd string and open 6th string together. Then we have these notes. 2 plucks on the 2nd string 1st fret, then open 2nd string, then open 3rd string, then 2nd string 1st fret again. And let's see, the very last C here on the 2nd string 1st fret, I'm going to have to pluck with my 2nd finger, because 1st finger is going to have to catch this low F coming up pretty quick. So you can already do it with 2 there if you want. I can't remember what I did on the recording, but just catch this last C right here with your 2nd finger. So you can do this. So this little phrase is 6th string 1st fret F with 1st finger, and then we're going to play open 2nd string, and we're going to do this little inverted mordent. That's what we call it in classical music. So do a quick ascending slur onto the 1st fret of the 2nd string with your 2nd finger, and then just as quick do a descending slur back to the open 2nd string. That's going to be followed immediately by an open 3rd string, and then one more open 3rd string and a quick ascending slur to the 3rd string 2nd fret with the 2nd finger. Okay, let me back up a little bit. Okay, now back up even further. Okay. Now we're gonna have a lead in to the downbeat after that. So open 3rd string, and then a ascending slur rather to the 2nd fret of the 3rd string with your 2nd finger. And then when the downbeat happens, play the open 5th string, and at the same time play the open 2nd string. Okay, now we're going to do this cool slur line. Very cool. So we played this open 2nd string. We're going to do an ascending slur to the 1st fret, and then pluck that 1st fret, and then we're going to pluck it again, and then do an ascending slur to the 3rd fret. Sorry, I can't talk. So pluck, slur, pluck, pluck, slur. Now we're going to shift our 1st finger here to the 3rd fret, pluck, pluck, slur to the 5th fret, pluck, pluck, slur to the 6th fret. And you can see the fingering there. Start with 1 here. I'm going to go to 3. I choose 3 here because it's a fatter finger on the end for the slur sound. Okay, we're going to end, let me show you where we end the phrase and then I'll back up and do it kind of slow. We're going to end with this 3rd finger on the 2nd string 5th fret, and then 1st finger goes to the 6th string 3rd fret. We're going to play both of those at the same time. And I always do some vertical vibrato on this. Horizontal is left and right. Vertical, you just pull it up and down. The reason I don't do horizontal is because it's hard for me to get there. But if I just hit that note flat, it always just sounds bad to me. So I had to do something. So I just give it a little shake. Oops, wrong bass note. Like that. And remember, you're alternating your plucking hand I&M fingers for all these. I mean, we've been doing it, but we're still doing it. Okay, now we have this. Open first string E, first string first fret with your first finger, and then another one of these inverted mordents. So open first string, ascending slur to the first fret, and descending slur back to the open first string. Okay, after that, you're going to play the open sixth string, and then at the same time play the second string third fret with your fourth finger. And we're going to do a descending slur. So when you put fourth finger down, go ahead and put first finger on the first fret of the second string and do a descending slur. You could do 3 to 1 also. I'm doing 4 to 1. After that, do another pluck on the first fret and then descending slur to the open second string. Then we're going to play open third string, then another inverted mordent, so open second string, ascending slur to the first fret, and then immediate descending slur back to the open string, open second string. Then this phrase ends with octave G's. So open third string G, and then sixth string third fret G, which I always fret with my second finger. You kind of have a choice, but I fret with second finger because we're going to be in this position next anyway. So oops. Used to playing it on 7th string. Okay, so this part, open third string, ascending slur to the second fret with your first finger, and then back to the open third string. Then pluck the open third string 2 more times, or it's 3 more times rather. Well, let's see. 2 more, and then on the third pluck, you're going to play the open 5th string bass note with it. Like that. And after you play the open 3rd string together with the 5th string, you're going to do an ascending slur to the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Okay, now we go to this part. So 2 more plucks here on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Then 2nd fret. 3rd string, 4th fret with 3rd finger. Then ascending slur to the 4th finger on the 5th fret. And then an immediate descending slur back to the 3rd finger. Then back to the 1st finger on the 2nd fret. Then we're going to play the 1st finger together with the 2nd finger coming in on the 6th string 3rd fret. Play those 2 together. then the last note of this little phrase is an ascending slur on the 3rd string, 4th fret with your 3rd finger. Okay. And some vibrato there, maybe. Then we have this phrase. So 3rd string, 5th fret with 4th finger. Then 2nd string, 3rd fret with 2nd finger. Then pluck that same note one more time and do a quick ascending slur to the 2nd string, 5th fret with your 4th finger. A very quick slur here. Now shift with this 4th finger down 2 frets to the 3rd fret on the 2nd string. Play that 3rd fret at the same time you play the open 6th string. Now we're going to do, let's see. Open 1st string twice. Very quick ascending slur to the 1st fret with your 2nd finger, followed by a not so quick descending slur. Then we're going to play 2nd string 4th, 2nd string 3rd fret with your 4th finger, together with the 6th string 1st fret with your 1st finger. Play those together, and then this same type of figure with the quick ascending slur and the slow descending slur. So open 2nd string, and then quick ascending slur to the 1st fret with your 2nd finger, because this 1st finger is holding this low F. Then a descending slur back to the open 2nd string. Then 3rd string, 2nd fret with 2nd finger, then open 3rd string, then open 2nd string. Okay. Now we're gonna do this. Okay. For this bass note, for you 7 stringers out there, this is the only open 5th string A that I actually play in the arrangement. So you know how I said before, whenever you have an open 5th string A, play your low 7th string. This is the only one where I actually play this 5th string. The reason is because we're gonna move the register up. So I want to go ahead and move it up there for a clean shift. So let's see. So play the open 5th string. At the same time, play 1st string 3rd fret with your 1st finger, and then a very quick ascending slur to the 1st string 5th fret that I'm going to use with my 3rd finger here. And also at this moment, I switch to free stroke with the fingers, because you're gonna have to play some notes with the thumb on strings right next to notes with fingers, so I couldn't use rest stroke, so I just switched to free stroke for the rest of this solo. So I'm gonna switch right here. You can see the switch. Okay, I just move my hand forward. Now it's free stroke. I'm gonna try and mimic the same sound I was already doing. Don't want it really to change. Okay. Now play 2 more plucks on the 1st string 5th fret. Then play 2 more plucks on the 1st string 5th fret. Then first string 7th fret with your 3rd finger, ascending slur to the first string 8th fret with your 4th finger, and then immediate descending slur back to the 3rd finger, and then back to that 5th fret on the 1st string with your 1st finger. So let me back up a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to play the open 3rd string G together with this 1st string 5th fret A one more time, and then do a lazier ascending slur to the 1st string 7th fret. Oops. Okay. Then play 2 1st string 7th fret Bs with your 1st finger here. And the second one's going to turn into one of these inverted mordents. So a quick ascending slur on the 8th fret with your 2nd finger, and then a very quick descending slur right back to the 1st finger. Then we're going to play 2nd string 8th fret G with your 2nd finger. After that, we're going to play another 2nd string G with your 2nd finger here. 1st finger is going to reach down and play the 5th string 7th fret E for your bass note. Okay. Okay, then we're going to do, so one more 2nd string 8th fret G with your 2nd finger, then 1st string 8th fret C with your 3rd finger, and go ahead and put 1st finger down on the 1st string 7th fret. Okay, because we're going to do a descending slur from 3rd finger to 1st finger. And then go back to that G on the 2nd string 8th fret. And then play one more G on the 2nd string 8th fret together with an open 3rd string bass note. Let me back up a little bit. Okay. Then we're going to do this. Okay, so we're here. Play 1st string 8th fret with your 3rd finger, and then a quick ascending slur to the 1st string 10th fret with your 4th finger. And then I'm going to shift this 4th finger down to the 8th fret, then play 7th fret with your 3rd finger, then play 5th fret with your 1st finger, 5th fret one more time with an ascending slur to the 7th fret with your 4th finger, and then we're going to do this little thing. So this is all you need to have set at first, I think, is just your 1st finger here on the 5th fret, 1st string. Play open 5th string, open 2nd string with your middle finger, and then 1st string A with your A finger. A note with A finger. After you play those 3 notes, it's kind of like a chord, but I'm just rolling it. After you play those 3, play 3rd string 5th fret 2nd finger right here, because this is this line that we're going to bring back in because the solo's over. Okay, let me go back over that again real quick. Let's see. That's not the finger I did. after this, get right back into this passage that we just came from. So open second string, do this inverted mordent here on the first fret, and then you're right back into it. Okay. You're going to play that 2 more times like you did before the solo. The only change is at the end of the second time, so this is just the same, and then I'm going to do this before we go back into this part. So all I'm doing here is you're holding out this same chord. You've only got 6th string 3rd fret with 2nd finger, 5th string 2nd fret with 1st finger. And I'm just going to pluck strings 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All the other strings are open. Strings 4 through 1 are open. And I just, with the plucking hand, I do P, P, I, M, A. And that gives us an E minor harmony, which leads us back into this, which is an E minor. Okay, so again, strings 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then go back to this chord, which you already know, and start that passage. Okay, and I kind of slow down there. Then we're going to play that intro passage 4 times, exactly like before, note-wise anyway. You might want to feel it a little different, phrase it a little different. The only thing that's different is at the end of the 4th time, I slow down a lot, and I end with this chord. Which is not in the piece, really, I just made it up for an ending chord. So this chord is open 6th string, 5th string 7th fret with 4th finger, 4th string 4th fret with 1st finger, open 3rd string, open 2nd string, open 1st string. So when we do this line, instead of playing it like normal, that's where the chord goes. So we're going to do the low E, do this slide, and then fret the chord and play all 6 strings. Or feel free to end it how you want. You could really end it on any E minor harmony or whatever you wanted to do, but that's just what I came up with. I think that pretty much covers it. For you 7 stringers, when you bash in with this part initially, I do a big chord there with open 7th string, open 6th string, open 5th string, and then your A minor on top. So it's a big roll, but you've got the low 7 to make it sound really cool. Yeah, so I feel like this is like the worst tutorial I've ever made, showing this solo. Sorry, it's difficult to explain. I hope me playing it slow helps. And if I were you, I would listen to Metallica's recording a lot. You can listen to the recording that I made if you like, if that's the way that you want to play it. But getting the solo in your ears will really serve you. And it'll serve you playing it melodically, and it will serve you playing the rhythms where they need to be, right? More so than, this note, this finger, and all this kind of business. Yeah, you need that too, but try and imagine how the line goes. Be able to imagine it first, and then it will come together for you. It's really difficult for me to explain all the notes because I can't feel them. Like if I'm playing the phrase, I can feel it better. But to stop and say what the note is hard. It's hard for me. So that would be my advice there. Yeah, learn the notes and the frets and the positions, but really learn how the solo goes melodically. And that will really help you, I think. Okay, if I confuse you, ask me any questions. I'll do my best to help you out. But I sure appreciate you being a part of the air guitar community. Let me know if you're working on this piece, how it's going. Let us know when you get it down and it sounds great. And we'll be very happy for you. Okay, good luck. See you around in another video. Take care. Bye-bye.